Another tape this week. Bin Laden marks Israel's anniversary with a combat vow. This was reported by Reuters. Osama bin Laden vowed in an audio tape to mark Israel's 60th anniversary to continue to fight the Jewish state and its allies in the West. The Al-Qaeda leader, who has placed growing emphasis on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, said it was at the heart of the Muslim battle with the West and an inspiration to the 19 bombers who carried out the attacks on U.S. cities on September 11th. We will continue, God permitting, the fight against the Israelis and their allies, and will not give up a single inch of Palestine as long as there is one true Muslim on earth, he said in the message posted on an Islamic website on Friday. How astute Mr. bin Laden must be to realize this is his 28th tape since 9/11/2001 to commemorate Israel's 60th year celebration while on the run in the rugged mountains of Afghanistan or Pakistan, with obviously a complete audio and video studio in one hand and dragging his kidney dialysis machine in the other. He was able to stay up to date on world events and release his tape right on time. That's this week's Food for Thought. I would like to comment on something that was in the Washington Post May 4th, and you got to check this story out. Almost 8 years after Al-Qaeda nearly sank the USS Cole with an explosive stuffed motorboat, killing 17 sailors, all of the defendants convicted in the attack have either escaped from prison or been freed by Yemen officials. Jamal al-Badawi, a Yemen who helped organize the plot to bomb the Cole as it refueled in a Yemen port on October 12, 2000, has broken out of prison twice. He was recaptured both times, but then secretly released by the government last fall. Yemeni authorities jailed him again after receiving complaints from Washington, but U.S. officials have so little faith that he is still in his cell that they have demanded the right to perform random inspections. 2 suspects, described as the key organizers, were captured outside Yemen and are being held at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, beyond the jurisdiction of U.S. courts. Many details of their alleged involvement remains classified. It is unclear when or if they will be tried by the military. The collapse of the Cole investigation offers a revealing case study of the U.S. government's failure to bring Al-Qaeda operatives to justice for some of the most devastating attacks on American targets over the past decade. We got a phone call.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good. This is Keith. I was calling in. I'm just curious. China, what they have, earthquake over there?
Yeah. Killed 50,000 or maybe more than that now.
Yeah, I seen last night on the news. They was talking about they had so many people they were rescuing, but they didn't want no help from the United States. So I didn't understand why not. You know, we're borrowing money from them, and they were without water. We said we could give them some water, but they didn't want none. You know. Do you know anything about that?
Burma also that recently had a lot of devastation. At first refused help from the United States, and they said they were afraid that if we got into their country, they'd never get us out. I don't know if China might have the same idea in mind or not, but I'll tell you this, especially during the Bush administration and the policies that he has advocated, I think world opinion of the United States is at an all-time low, and that may well be the reason that when something happens, we're about the last ones they want to see coming anymore.
Yeah, I understand. But I just wanted to, I didn't know if everybody understood that or you know, if anybody had even paid any attention, but, you know, I wanted to bring that out.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and feel free to call anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to comment on this. Everyone that was involved in the attack on the Cole, with the exception of 2, have either been freed or escaped. And since then, Yemen has refused to extradite Badawi and an accomplice to the United States, where they have been indicted on murder charges. And other Cole conspirators have all been freed after short prison terms, and at least 2 have went on to commit suicide attacks in Iraq. That's got absolutely no coverage in the mainstream press, and I think it's a story that should be addressed. I'd also like to comment this week on Grand Theft Auto 4 has been released, and it is supposed to be the game of the year. Grand Theft Auto 4 hit the stores Tuesday, and some analysts predict it could be the most lucrative launch in entertainment history, perhaps nearly $400 million in the first week of its release alone. As a comparison, Pirates of the Caribbean movie took in just over $300 million during its entire run in U.S. theaters. Publisher Rockstar Games was careful not to release too much information about the game prior to its being released, but this much fans and the series' outspoken critics alike knew. The game is rated M for mature and includes blood, violence, partial nudity, offensive language, strong sexual conduct, and drug use. The story centers on a European named Nico Bellic, who has moved to Liberty City, a near-perfect stand-in for New York City, to live with a cousin who has promised to help him chase the American dream. But the two quickly fall into debt and into the underworld. Nico finds himself running errands for a local crime boss. Quite simply, the game is violent. You steal cars, you run over people, you shoot people, you drive drunk, and there is plenty of simulated sex in cars and in strip clubs. I just wanted to make the public aware of the content of this video game. This is going to be flying off the shelves and into the hands of minors around the country, and in my opinion, promoting more moral decline in today's youth, as if they didn't have enough already. Lieberman hopes Iran is aware U.S. airstrikes are a distinct possibility. After General Petraeus testified before the Senate Armed Service Committee in April, conservative pundit Pan Buchanan warned that the neocons may get their war on Iran. Buchanan particularly singled out Petraeus' agreement with Senator Joseph Lieberman. Then he suggested it's fair to say that the Iranian-backed special groups in Iraq are responsible for the murder of hundreds of American soldiers and thousands of Iraqi soldiers and civilians. When Lieberman appeared on MSNBC's Morning Joe on Monday, Buchanan reminded him of that question and asked, "Do you believe the United States should conduct airstrikes on the Al-Quds force if they do not stop this? And do you expect President Bush to do something like that?" I hope we don't have to get to that point of moving in any way into Iran to strike at the base of the people who are responsible for killing Americans, Lieberman replied. But I hope that the Quds force and the Iranian government has in mind that it is a distinct possibility. We keep reporting this because the Bush administration seems determined to get into a war with Iran. While our military is stretched thin, our economy is teetering, and our borders are wide open, this time, unlike Iraq, we should err on the side of caution instead of running headstrong into another quagmire of billions of dollars and deaths of our young men and women. If you'd like to comment on that, call in. And before we go off, I'd like to read a couple of emails. This one was from Troy. I really enjoyed your guest last week. I was a member of the NRA, but I felt they weren't getting the job done. I was unaware of Gun Owners of America. I thank you for informing me of this organization. Keep up the good work. I want to thank you, Troy, and you keep up the good work also. Stay in touch with any suggestions or comments. Kyle in Hickory wrote, last week you suggested the church should unite and fight against homosexuality. Why is it that we don't? Has anyone ever tried to unite the churches? I had never thought about it, but we should stand together and then throw the bums out that is in power and start over. Let me just say, Kyle, amen. This week is Media Slanting of the News. We will put that back on and change the lineup. Everyone take a look at the website, realnewsradio.com. It's slowly becoming until next week, this is Farron for the Real News saying, God help us all.